Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Dobson 777A here. We've been tracking uranium for a while, and I'm starting to see a lot of things that might make us really take a closer look. But this article is kind of interesting because it says, hey, it looks like uranium prices are going to rally. But curiously, when you get all the way to the end, it says, Morgan Stanley warns that the opacity of the inventory situation remains a key uncertainty to price. See, for example, palladium, which needed almost 7 years of deficit before the price really took off. So anyway, some of this stuff could be a very long payout if you decide to get in there. But, we've been watching it for a while. I may have to do a little more studying at this and go look at some of the uranium miners. URA is the ETF that I remember off the top of my head. I probably should pull up a chart and see what that looks like. But I wanted you to be aware that starting to see some rumblings about uranium, and we may actually see an opportunity here. But it's not a tangible asset such that to protect us into a major downturn, but it's a potential speculation. That's all. I used to live in Florida, and there's a huge amount of mining that is done for phosphates, for all kinds of things like fertilizers and such. And periodically, we would have these collapses of these pits that were used for storing waste products of the mining. And this is happening again. There's a massive waste pit. The containment wall is shifted laterally, and we're probably going to have, I don't even know how many gallons are in this thing, but it's a terrible, nasty, I mean, they're talking about radioactive and everything else, but anyways, it's really sad to see this because it's probably going to go out into the Gulf and everything else, but they're currently trying to release water, 22,000 gallons a minute. But we'll see. This is something you'll have to keep an eye on. This could be an unmitigated disaster. How many of you saw this goofiness? Spain passed a law that even while you're out swimming at sea, you have to wear a mask. Okay, what is wrong with these people? They're kind of like, I guess they want the people to feel like they're being waterboarded when they're out there swimming in the water. I don't know. What is going on with these clowns? How many people saw this? Some hacker got a hold of 533 million Facebook users' passwords, personal information, all kinds of stuff, and there was 32 million in the U.S. alone. So there's 106 countries affected, 11 million in the UK, 6 million in India, all this stuff. Jeez, this is ridiculous. And these were all leaked for free. So your phone number for the account was leaked, all kinds of stuff. So here we go. Phone number, Facebook ID, full name, location, past location, birth date, sometimes email address, account creation date, relationship status, bio, all kinds of good stuff here. And this is all the countries that were affected. Yeah, this is a really secure thing, so be careful what information you put out there. That's nasty. Okay, the thing I really want to focus on tonight's show is this doggone article. Goldman asks, is there a more interesting chart on planet Earth right now? And it really, when we get all the way down here, it's this one right here, 30-year Treasury yield. So I thought, okay, I'm a good kind of like trend analyzer, and so I grabbed this chart and I threw it in a Word document, and let's see what treatment I would do to this data versus these two parallel lines. They're basically saying we're hitting this upper resistance. Are we going to break through like this? Are we going to go higher, jump way up, or is this going to, bounce off of this and come back down? So let's see what my chart says. All right, so I kind of wish this went back a little bit further, but it goes all the way to the beginning of 1990. And I started noticing that there were these somewhat horizontal lines that were occurring here, where it was bouncing against like some resistance and coming back up and that kind of thing. So you have like support, I should say, this is support and this is the upper limit here. So anyways, from the first chart here, our first part of it in the beginning of 94, we noticed we had this upward trend, but it came back and retested this line. And then it went up again and retested this line. And then we had a reset. And it's only because I'm looking over here and I see that there's another reset. So I kind of connected these two things, and I would say it's like a major drop that occurs, but you'll notice it bounces up towards this line, comes back down, and it keeps playing. But this overall trend line is down for this period. And then it drops precipitously, and then it comes up very quickly, and then down, up quickly, down. But you notice this trend line is down. You have lower lows each time, and you don't have higher highs. So this is overall a downward trend. And then I noticed that, I took this particular line, just copied it over here, and I noticed this period of time was longer. So this was 10 years plus maybe one more year, so 11 years for this period, and now it's dropping down, so I assume it's going to come up and then come bouncing down. And don't know how long this is going to be, but it almost looks like we have this recurring thing, and pretty soon we're going to be at zero, and then we're going to be at negative and whatever else, because this is the Treasury yield. So what do you think about that? This is kind of an interesting view of the data, if you ask me. I think we're going to bounce off of this thing, maybe go above slightly, but gold has been going down this whole time this has been going up. So if I'm right, we're going to come back down, hit this, bounce back up, come down, hit it, and just keep going. And maybe I don't even have this slope exactly right. It could be a little more severe like that. I don't know. Let's take it over here and look at it. Okay, I got it. That's a little more severe, so it should probably come up a little bit. I'm trying to keep the slopes the same. Yeah, that's fairly close, but it's still a little more severe. So I hope you see how I did this chart, but this would indicate to me that we are going to see an explosion in gold price. And I've heard some folks saying that by the end of 2021, we're going to see $2,200 for gold, which means potentially good news for silver and obviously even platinum. So let's see what the Treasury does, Treasury yield, and see how this pans out. But my prediction is this thing's going to come back down and continue this overall trend that we've got here. Now I was kind of looking at the Fibonacci for gold here, and if I'm doing this correctly, it's been a long time since I've kind of done this. We're down, bouncing off the 618 trend line, which is a pretty common thing, and so we probably hit a pretty good bottom, and then we'll see this thing start coming back up again. So I think gold is actually in pretty good shape here, and this is probably your best entry point you're probably going to get in quite some time. So just letting you know about that. In the early hours of gold and silver turning on in the markets, it looks like we're just kind of bouncing a little bit sideways. We had a little bit of down movement, and then silver's up to around $25 right now, and gold is $17.28. So silver's holding up pretty doggone good. You know, we had hit as highs of 28, and we're just at 25 right now. So this isn't a substantial drop, but it looks like it's trying to fight its way back up. And I think, again, when we see the treasuries, how that's going to perform, I think we're going to see a substantial change here. Platinum's starting to look like my favorite chart here. This doggone thing, you can see what's happened since March. We were around 600 on this bottom, and now we're at 1216. And even still, if we were at this point here, this was 983. So you're up, like $250 an ounce for platinum, another silver metal. But so platinum is looking fantastic, and I think you ought to be pleased if you were fortunate enough to pick up some platinum, even going back at this time period, all the way at 781 back in September, October time period of 2018. That looked like the one of the most opportune times to pick up some platinum besides this point here, but you really couldn't get it at this price without some substantial premiums, but it still was the deal of the century around in this period. All right, here's a chart of the precious metals and TLT overlaid, looking at the percentage of returns from roughly September 2018. And you can see TLT got as high as 40%, and it's fallen down to 13%. We're starting to see just a little bit of a change here. The next line is gold. Gold is tracking TLT, which is the 20-year Treasury bond. And you can see it's, when the TLT is going down, gold is going down. Now, curiously, platinum is on the opposite trend. Platinum is going up. Silver's kind of made a jump up, but it's kind of trading sideways now. So we're probably going to wait for everything to kind of snap up and catch up to silver, and then we're probably off to the races. But that's kind of the chart analysis for tonight. I hope you had a wonderful Easter. I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.
All right, go potty. We gonna go bye-bye? Are we gonna go bye-bye? Here we go bye-bye. We gonna go bye-bye? Yeah, all right. You going to get in the car? We're not quite ready. I'm almost ready. You almost ready? Okay.